You know, I frequently make videos talking about the degradation of video games or anime. Very rarely do I get to make one that incorporates both, as well as having cybersecurity thrown in the mix. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yeah, if you hadn't heard, report: Sony in talks to buy Kadokawa, owner of Elden Ring and Dark Souls developer From Software. And gamers are pretty pissed about this, as they should be, rightfully so. This is Sony we're talking about, the Japanese Disney when it comes to buying up IPs and products that they really don't need, but really Japanese in name only because they're headquartered here in America now and are just another one of those left-leaning California woke companies. And you know how much I really do hate to say the word woke, but I mean, take a look at all their most recent products. Is there really a better word for it? But no, this doesn't actually just affect gamers. I don't think people realize how much Kadokawa actually does. And the best part about this, I don't know that there's going to be any recourse to fight it, because since they are technically a Japanese company, they are actually headquartered officially in Japan. There's no antitrust laws to really keep this from going down. So yay, monopoly on all of our favorite mediums, not just gaming, not just anime, but both, again, with cybersecurity thrown in there. That's right, Sony might be the owner of a division that has cybersecurity. Sony, the company that gets a new massive hack every, 3 years or so? So we're going to go into this article. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news almost every day. And this should have literally every single one of you nerds completely and utterly worried, like it does your boy here. Sony is reportedly in talks to buy Kadokawa, whose subsidiary From Software is behind the smash hit Elden Ring, the Dark Souls and Armored Core games, and PlayStation exclusive Bloodborne. There's the key word, PlayStation exclusive, because Elden Ring made a lot of money. Elden Ring made boatloads of cash, and let's be real, its glorified DLC, their tree, is probably going to win Game of the Year this coming Game of the Year award season. And Sony wants a piece of that pie. They realize, hey, if people are willing to buy anything From Software, well, we may as well make it proprietary and only available on Sony consoles, at least only for the first year, and so we can then put it on Steam and then make you sign in with your Sony ID so we can continue to track you. That's right, they got to make your money off you somewhere. But it goes far deeper than that, because like I mentioned before, this isn't just an issue that affects gamers, considering Kadokawa as a company has their hands in far more than just gaming. Reuters reports that Sony is looking to add to its entertainment portfolio. Kadokawa's business extends into areas that fit into Sony's broader entertainment offering, which include anime, manga, TV, and film. So yeah, not just gaming. What are some of the anime that Kadokawa's worked on? Well, for one, we got Your Name, absolute classic, banger, one of the best animated films literally of all time. What is this? We got Konosuba. I believe this is Konosuba. Yeah. Konosuba. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Overlord. I'm pretty sure they did some of the, we got one of the Made in Abyss, one of the most overrated anime of all time, but whatever. Sword Art Online. They've done a lot. So we're not only going to see the cultural degradation of games like Elden Ring or the other From Software games, but anime as well. So yeah, just remember that when you're thinking about, oh, it's not a big deal, Sony's just trying to buy this one corporation that makes video games. No! They will effectively be having a chokehold on the Japanese industry as a whole when it comes to the mediums and the artistic endeavors that we absolutely love. Yes, artistic endeavors that are at the end of the day products to be sold, but at what cost? I mean, this is Sony we're talking about. The same Sony that's putting out the movies like Venom or it's Morbin time. That's right, Morbius, the upcoming Craven film. I mean, it's pretty sure it was Sony that did Ghostbusters 2016, one of the catalysts for the modern day culture war. This is the same Sony that now is going to effectively run From Software. Yeah, I don't know, boys and girls, that sounds pretty bad to me, and that's just, again, that's not even including what it's going to do to the anime side of things, and gamer as I am, I'm actually more of a weeb first at the end of the day, so I am terrified of what it's going to do for anime and manga. As well as From Software, Kadokawa owns Danganronpa developer Spike Chunsoft. Oh, Spike Chunsoft, why does that name sound familiar? That's right, because Spike Chunsoft also did Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, another one of the most critically acclaimed games that is willing to come out this year. What isn't Sony trying to get their hands on? And the better question, what will they not ruin in doing so? And are they going to be able to do this? Because again, antitrust, very different in Japan than it is here in America. This would very obviously be considered a monopoly here in America. Now, I won't lie. Maybe there are some steps that can be taken in Japanese law to prevent this. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in Japanese lawfare. That's not really my bag. Maybe I can send a message to my boy Maxim or ask him, because this seems pretty insane. Octopath Traveler, developer, acquire, RPG maker, pixel game maker, developer, gacha games. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Talks between Sony and Kadokawa are reportedly ongoing. If the talks are successful, Reuters said, a deal could be signed in the coming weeks. We're talking weeks! Is there any chance of the Japanese government getting in there and breaking this up? I mean, we saw the U.S. government at least attempt to figure out is there standing for monopoly laws when it came to, for example, Microsoft buying Blizzard, which, by the way, I think there should have been. I don't think Microsoft should have been allowed to buy Blizzard, but hey, whatever, that's all in the past, it happened. But the fact of the matter, we at least had some sort of recourse to fight against it. Is there something like that in Japan, or are we just going to have to throw our hands up, accept this, and then realize that, oh right, even though Sony is a Japanese company, again, they are Japanese in name only. When you look at the way they run their companies, when you look at their website, when you see that they are all involved in ESG, when you see they're all on that DEI train, when you see what they have done to just gaming and media as a whole, and bowing and kowtowing and bending the knee to the modern day leftist propaganda machine. Now, don't get me wrong, that might be changing. We've gone so far as to see Disney kick out She-Hulk from their Disney Plus banner and replace it with Deadpool. We've also heard reports that Disney is wanting to maybe get a few more conservative board members, or even a relatively conservative, at worst, middle ground individual as the new CEO after Bob Iger leaves in 2026. So yes, the tides are turning. There are cultural shifts being made. The pendulum does seem to be swinging back in a way that is much better for the middle ground. But should we put our trust and faith in that, or do we even want to allow that to happen? I mean, very few companies out there are hated as much as Sony. Again, you got Disney, you got Wizards of the Coast, who else you got? I'm sure we can name several more. And again, I want to remind you, there's still the cybersecurity issue, because how many times have we had the news report Sony's been hacked, whether it be their film studios have been hacked and all sorts of scripts leaked, whether it was PSN that was hacked and we had all of our personal data, possible credit card information, all leaked and taken. I remember, I've had some credit card info stolen. Was it from a Sony leak? I don't know, but I do know I've had credit card information stolen, and it was during a time when Sony hacks did happen, and Kadokawa actually does have cybersecurity divisions. It doesn't just make Japanese media, it's also a software company that does more than just entertainment. Oh my goodness, we are in for a rough one, boys and girls. Let's see, Kadokawa is the majority owner of From Software with around 70% of the company. Sony already owns around 14% of From Software, with Tencent owning around 16%. From Software has yet to announce its next game to follow this year's Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Eder Tree, and Piers Harding-Rolls, research director at Empire Analysis, told IGN the news of a potential deal isn't surprising. Sony's interest in Kadokawa's games publisher From Software was made more concrete in 2022 when it acquired 14% share of the company, following up its long-time collaboration with the company, Harding-Rolls said. But yes, again, it's important to denote, it's not just games. Don't get me wrong, that's going to be a big portion of it. That's going to be a massive revenue stream, because you do have individuals that are obsessed with From Software games. They will buy the PlayStation 5 Pro if it means getting their next Erd Tree, spin-off, their next From Software game, whatever it may be. And the PS5 Pro is an absolute failure. Oh, by the way, that's another thing that Sony isn't exactly good at, making good business decisions when it comes to their games, when it comes to their hardware, when it comes to what us, the actual consumer and or customer, wants. Do you know anybody excited for the PS5 Pro? Do you want the people who think the PS5 Pro is a good idea, or that glorified Wii U knockoff that Sony put out, to be the ones to own From Software and at the end of the day have end-all be-all creative control? Because you know there's no good goddamn way on earth that they're going to say, From, we love your work, do what you do, we're just going to rake in the money. No money man does that. They always want their grubby little paws in something. There's going to be no difference here. At the time, Sony mentioned a broader interest in cross-media development of anime and games IP to support its other media businesses. Oh, why do you need support for your other media businesses? Is it because you're failing? Because people have acknowledged that your products are absolute trash? Are you struggling right now, and so your only recourse is to snatch up all these other studios, get their IPs, and just bank on them saving you from your own poor management decisions? Poor management decisions that you are probably going to top-down force these other companies that you now own to employ, therefore making their companies worse in the long run, or their products worse, since they'll just be under your umbrella at this point, thereby degrading the quality of something that we have grown up loving, something we've grown up revering, something we've grown up with one of the last few things that have some sort of bastion of quality to it. So in any sense of deal for the parent company Kadokawa, which also operates extensively in manga and anime, is a natural extension for this earlier deal. The other areas align nicely with Sony's anime businesses. The market conditions for acquisitions have changed dramatically over the last 2 years, but Sony will always be looking for opportunities that can fuel its growth and bolster its IP portfolio. Or and this is just an option. You could create your own new IPs. I mean, I get it. You sort of tried that with Concord after you bought them out, and we saw how well that worked. Yes, the next Erdtree game, the next From Software game, the next Dark Souls game, the next Elden Ring game is not going to get canned after 10 days because it's not going to be some shitty live service game. We hope, but also Sony did say within the last couple weeks, they do maintain their commitment to doing live service. So, I don't know, live service Elden Ring, anybody? That might be on the horizon if Sony gets their way. That represent value. There's also be a defensive element from this move. From Software is an important partner for Sony Games businesses. Great, they're an important partner. Leave it at that. A partner. You do not need to own them, you greedy sons of bitches. And it will not want a competitor taking control of Kadokawa, potentially disrupting that relationship. Kadokawa could just not sell. It's not like they're in a bad spot. They're already killing it. They are also a multinational conglomeration that has several subsidiaries. So not only will Sony own Kadokawa, but by extension, the subsidiaries beneath them. Again, there are lots. Just go to the Wikipedia page. You can see all the subsidiaries in Kadokawa. They've got tons of them. This is actually an insane move. I can only imagine the multi-billions upon billions they're willing to spend here, and that's in American money, because when you talk about yen, that shit might be up into the trillions. I don't know the conversion rate for yen, but I know that those numbers get really, really big. It helps that Kadokawa is also active in areas which are strong fit with Sony's wider business. Here we go, moves beyond anime, moves beyond manga. For Sony, its gaming business has already suffered significant layoffs this year, and the closure of multiple studios. Right. That goes back to their poor management. So just so you guys know, From Software, if things continue on this trend, are also going to now suffer those same issues. Did you like working From Software? Did you do good work? Were you happy that gamers the world over revered what you did? Well, best go ahead and update your resume and start looking for another job, because I guarantee you within the next 6 months to 2 years tops, more layoffs are coming, and they're going to hit you next if this deal is allowed to go through. I think I made my point. Sony sucks. Gamers are in danger. Weebs are in danger. Anime, manga fans, otaku, people who just casually play video games and enjoy the difficulty spikes that come with games like Shadow of the Erdtree, the Elden Ring, are in danger. As well as, again, anyone that just, takes cybersecurity safety, because that's another thing that Kadokawa operates big on. And Sony is known for having some of the worst security in the business. This is actually insane. This is something that, again, we don't have a whole lot of say over. We don't have a whole lot of control over. We are just but small fish in this big, financial shell game. But you're still going to buy their games, aren't you? You're still going to be like, well, I'm a big enough From Software fan. I guess I can buy the new PlayStation hardware so I can play the new Elden Ring sequel or whatever it may be, because gamers have no sense of self-control. Or at least that used to be my thought process, but recently, gamers have been banding together and been doing pretty well. We absolutely got Dustborn to fail, we got Concord to fail, we got Dragon Age the Veilguard to, if not fail, definitely not be the success that Ubisoft wanted to be, and the list goes on and on and on. And we actually got something like Hogwarts Legacy to succeed well beyond expectations in 2023, making it the highest selling game of the year. So there are a lot of good things to say about the modern mentality of gamers, but will they be able to keep it up? Is this going to be a long-term thing? Can we trust the longevity of gamer outrage over what's been going on ever since Gamergate 2.0 started? And are we going to be able to get them to direct it at Sony to make this a massive misfire, or better yet, do what we did with the Sonic movie and bully them into listening to us, which in this case would mean not buying this goddamn studio? But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And not always what's going on in the gaming scene or anime scene, but really all those and more. Anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 150 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.